Some legends are told, some turn to dust or to gold, but you will remember me for centuries. Just one mistake is all it will take. We'll go down in history.
Welcome live to a PickABone with Bones and the Boys, joined by Anthony McAvoy and Jay Block. I'm Justin Jones, your host. As we saw, guys, in Elite Eight, man, we had some shocking mismatches and upsets, I would say. But first, this first game for the Final Four is going to be number 1 Virginia going up against, number 5 Auburn? So, Jay, you want to break down what happened? How the hell did that Auburn team make it this far in that 5 seed?
Well, I didn't have them going this far, so I'm shocked myself, but they really know how to shoot that three ball. Bryce Brown really leading that team, shooting over 40% from the arc, really distributes that offense and really spreads it out to become a lethal shooting team. Frankly, I did not expect them to even beat that Kentucky team, and I'm not even fond of this Kentucky team this year, but they really shot the ball phenomenally from beyond the arc, and that really did it for them.
Now, for Auburn, they've beaten Kansas, UNC, and now Kentucky. Most top 3 winningest programs in Division I history. They have a little momentum heading into this Final Four, going up against a tough Virginia defense.
And, I want to preface by saying I had Auburn getting to this point. Auburn's a hot team. Like I said in the last episode, the last time this team lost was to Kentucky, and they got beat by 27, and they have not lost since. And, getting into tournament time, that's what you need, is these hot teams. Now,
they really picked it up in the SEC tournament.
They picked it up in the SEC tournament, playing 4 straight games, against really good teams, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, yeah. And then they get to the tournament, and that's where you have to show up, and they have done everything they needed to do. Now, I really thought that the Kentucky game was going to be it, losing Chuma Okeke to an ACL tear in the UNC game, but you had so many guys who don't really get the spotlight. They stepped up in that game against Kentucky, and Kentucky lost their edge in the second half completely.
You're exactly right. Now, who do you guys have winning this matchup? You going with the hot team in Auburn or the team that's been there all year in Virginia?
I mean, I've been on the Auburn bandwagon for like the last I feel like I have to pick Auburn because I had Auburn getting this far. I feel like it's their first Final Four. I don't know. UVA lost to a 16 seed last year.
That's last year, though.
It's
Jay,
last year, but
who do you have?
We see a number 5 take on a number 1. I would say more often we do see a 16 seed beat a 1. But this Auburn team is a high-octane perimeter shooting team, really outshining UVA with the 3-ball, which is something you don't see often. UVA blew a couple of leads, and frankly, they shouldn't be here if you ask me personally. I have Auburn. I would like to see Bryce Brown lead this team again, all becoming archers and just knocking down the 3 and winning this game.
Jared Harper really stepped up in overtime, too.
No matter, you guys, Virginia's going to pull this out. They're the number 1 team for a reason.
They almost lost to a one-man team last time.
It does not matter. Virginia will pull this one out. The Cavaliers will beat Auburn and head to the national championship.
As long as Kyle guy keeps shooting his 3 for 30, I don't see UVA going any much further than this.
I didn't have them getting to this point, but they're here, and I think they're more experienced, better led team. So.
I just want to say, I know we're in the state of Virginia. I know it's a big UVA community, but I have to make this transparent. I don't think UVA is as good as everybody thinks they are. I think they're very overrated. I think they're a very defensively sound team because that's the way Tony Bennett likes to work on his team.
And they're a very slow team,
Now let's check out the next game. Number 3, Texas Tech going against number 2, Michigan State. This is, we didn't expect Michigan State to be here.
No.
And I had Texas Tech, I think I had them to my Elite 8 or Final Four. But I've liked this team. There's 2 great defensive teams, and I think Texas Tech is the best defensive team in the country. I'm going with the Red Raiders in this matchup.
There's no thinking that Texas Tech is the best defensive team in the country. Statistically, they are the best defensive team in the country. And, they have one of the most elite scorers in college basketball right now in Jarrett Culver. And honestly, this team can beat anybody. They could have played Duke, and they would have beat Duke.
Man.
But
I don't know about all that one.
But they're playing the team. They're playing the team that did beat Duke.
Okay, it's a 7-game series. Duke would beat Michigan State. 6 out of 7 times.
But it's a 1-out-of-1 series in the
I know.
NCAA tournament, and
I know.
Michigan State really stepped up and showed me a lot of things and showed
So-
that in adversity they can do
Who
what
do you
they
got?
need to do. I got Texas Tech.
Texas Tech? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jay?
Kenny Goins, Cassius Winston take on Matt Mooney, Dom Moretti, and obviously the lethal weapon, Jared Culver. This is going to be a nice little 2-on-3 matchup, but Michigan State, I think, is more revolved and subtle as a total team, all in all, even though Texas Tech has more numbers, if that makes sense. I think Tom Izzo is going to lead the way, and the Spartans are going to pull this one out and beat the Red Raiders.
So now, I mean, we might as well say, who do you guys got winning the national championship?
Well, my bracket went down the
Yeah,
garbage
I had Duke
chute,
against
so-
UNC, so
Yeah, exactly. Right now, I'd like to see the Spartans pull it out.
Sparties.
I could see Spartan playing UVA, even though I expect Auburn to win. But once again, it will not surprise me if UVA somehow pulls a lucky hand out of the pot, makes a last-minute shot. Obviously, the guy who shoots it shooting 20% from the field. You know, just the
Kise, yeah.
lucky stuff. You know, doesn't surprise me. I see the Spartans taking on Auburn or UVA.
who do you got?
See, like I just said, I got Texas Tech and Auburn, and that's shoot, I don't know. Honestly, that's really a toss-up. If I have to say anything, if I'm riding the hot hand, I think Auburn could really shock everybody and pull this off.
I'm going Texas Tech. I love this team. I love the
They're a
Red
fun team
Raiders.
to watch.
Yeah,
They really are.
and that's the main thing for me. I love just watching them.
People think when they watch Texas Tech, you're always going to think, oh, it's all Jared Culver, it's all Jared, and it's really not.
It's
Matt
not.
Mooney stepped up so big last game. Then the Italy transfer, Dom Moretti, really splashing some threes. I mean, they were up, I think, 2 with a minute left, and he comes off a screen and hits a 30-footer. I mean, the confidence. It's an all-around team that is very sound, but I think they will have their hands full.
I would say, though, the feel-good story would be for Tom Izzo to get a ring.
Yes.
That's true. That is true.
He's been waiting
But-
a long time.
And
That's-
he's one of the most deserving.
That's all the time we have for this segment. Next segment's gonna be about the Major League Baseball opening day underway, and a couple more games as we get into the weekend. But you know, Major League Baseball just starting, so we'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back to PickABone with Bones and the Boys as we get ready for this MLB segment, guys. What are some new the storylines heading around the league? I mean, Boston starts off their season 1-3. They won the World Series last year. Now they're off to a cold start. I mean, you were talking about Chris Sale before the show, Anthony, about that, that slow start. What's up with Boston now?
I honestly think it's a championship slump right now. You know, you're really high off, and you won the whole thing last year, but people can't write off. That was a good Mariners team. The Mariners did a lot of good things in the offseason, brought in a lot of new guys and a lot of new faces. And also it's a young team, but also I kind of attribute it to the Mariners had already played 2 games.
Yeah.
At that point. So, at the end of the day, you could still say Boston's still the better team. They should have won, but it's
And honestly,
first weekend
these
of the
games,
season.
honestly, these games probably mean nothing right now. I mean, Boston's going to run 17
Yeah.
straight off later in the
Yes,
year.
they will.
But
Yeah.
They will.
Jay, you're a big Boston fan.
I am.
What do you expect out of this Red Sox team throughout this season this year?
Well, as long as they can stay healthy, which they did for the most part last season, I could expect another championship run. I wouldn't confirm another ring, but as long as they're keeping healthy and they're not hitting the ball the way they did against Seattle, 1 for 4 all around the roster is not going to do it. Give me at least a 2 for 5 all around, or give me on a good day, give me a 2 for 4.
Yeah.
They have sluggers. We don't have to go through the list. We know that they can hit. They just need to be consistent and find that repetition and find their groove. Like how you said, it's early, 1-3.
Yeah.
I am not even panicking.
Yeah,
I'm not even panicking.
these literally mean
Like how
nothing.
you said, that Mariners team is young. Those 2 games they beat Boston was bigger for them than it was Boston losing. I'm fine with that. Let the kids have a good time. Go get a juice box and enjoy it.
They have a target.
We're going to worry about winning.
Well, they always say you have a target on your back after you come up that championship
Absolutely.
run. You're going to get every team's best.
That's every sport.
Yeah,
Every
and so
sport.
I mean, Boston off to a slow start, I guess, but they can win 7 straight.
Oh yeah.
Not even worrying
This
about
is a Boston team that's like a murderer's row of a lineup. Mookie Betts. Then you got J.D. Martinez right behind him. Rafael Devers. I think Rafael Bogarts.
They just signed Bogarts. They just signed Bogarts to like a 6-year extension.
Gem on this roster everybody forgets about, but yes, he can hit the ball.
Jackie Bradley Jr. This is going to be a big
Benintendi.
He had a rough season last
year. Bradley Jr.'s got to step up a little bit this year, but a guy that everyone, I think, especially in our circles and then ESPN and everybody like that's talking about is Rafi Devers. He needs to have a big year this year. This is his year to step up.
Yeah, it's his sophomore year. I mean, he was a rookie last year. Like
There's a lot of room for him to breathe.
Exactly.
He was a rookie. He's on a championship winning
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think, if I'm right, he did step up clutch times in the playoffs.
He had his moments.
He had
his moments for a rookie, especially.
Now, Boston off to that slow start, but a guy that's off to a hot fucking start.
Ooh. Nice. Let that one out.
Yeah, you did.
Let the cat out of the bag. Let him know, Justin. Let him know. Yes, I just won $100, guys. We made a bet that if we talked about baseball long enough, Justin or Bones was going to get a little too passionate and throw a curse word in there. And boy, did I just win lunch for another week, baby. Woo!
Who made that bet?
Oh. And I did.
Dude, okay, one, that's going to get beeped out, so we don't have to worry about that. But two, Christian Yelich, 4 home runs.
I want that old green stuff.
Christian Yelich, 4 home runs, first 4 games. He had a game-winning shot the other day, double, allowed to score 2 runs. This Brewers team, they're going to be dangerous this year, a deep lineup, and also, Yelich coming off an MVP type season. So, Jay, give me what you got.
I forgot about this Brewers team. I was talking to you about it the other day. If I didn't tune into that Brewers game or get some results, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have thought of them until they had Ryan Braun in his younger days.
So you guys actually made a bet?
Yeah.
You made a bet.
Because I knew if you got passionate enough about baseball, you would honestly get that felt heart feeling, and something would come out, whether it be sugar honey iced tea, or the other word for butt, or even the F-bomb. But you just went for the whole shebang, man.
Immediately.
Dude, I was like...
I tried to have your back, and you let me down.
I don't want any tens.
This was insider.
I want one thick fill.
This is insider stuff, man. He told me about it, and I,
this is insider. You know what's called?
I'm getting half the cut.
You know what's called too? Collusion. And I don't even care. I just colluded for some money, man.
At first, I thought you were talking about me. Like we made a bet. I was like,
Christian Yelich. You asked me a question, even when you finish. If I didn't tune into this Brewers weekend where they played, I got to tell you, I wouldn't have thought about them till Ryan Braun in his younger days, and they had Prince Fielder stumbling around the bases. But this Brewers team
God, that was a sight.
Is a
they can
threat.
hit. They can hit, and they also picked up some talent like Lorenzo Cain coming over from Kansas City.
And unlike a Boston team, they have a bullpen, really nice bullpen. Well, because we were just talking about. But anyway, this is a Brewers team that.
They look good.
They could make it to the NLCS.
Yeah, I think they have a shot to make it.
It's noticeable.
It's noticeable, yeah, especially on paper as well.
Yes.
They look
You
good.
need one. You got one star to build around, and Milwaukee has slowly and very quietly done it.
Yeah, and they also picked up, I think, Eric Hosmer, another Kansas City
Mike
Royal.
Moustakas.
Yep, they're
Both
stealing
who
that
can
whole
hit the
Kansas City team.
Both who can hit the ball and play the field efficiently. They're building something here.
Yeah.
And it's honestly quite amazing to see.
Now, another team that built a pretty good team over the offseason, the Philadelphia Phillies, off to a 3-0 start. Harper with 2 home runs. But this is another deep lineup, and I think they, again, have a shot to challenge Milwaukee in the playoffs.
That is possible. I don't see about a ring, but I think it's possible.
I'm not saying anything too early.
Okay, good. We all knew Bryce Harper was going to do his, a little hat, flick it out in the air after he hit a home run. It was bound to happen.
I was a little
Bryce
nervous
Harper.
after the first game 1 when he went 0 for 3 with two strikeouts. I was like,
about that, though. Like, even if I was a Phillies fan, hypothetically, let's think about it this way. Okay, he's getting used to wearing a new uniform, new stadium. We can play any little factor as a reason why he went 0 for 3. But like how you said, he hit his dingers and he did his thing because that's what he does. Simple.
I sit here and I look at the Phillies and I'm like, I told you the other day, we had a meeting the other day, I told you they look legitimate like they could do it all.
I wasn't at this meeting.
I don't remember. I can't believe you're getting $100 out of that.
Dude, yeah, and you're getting none of it. Isn't that amazing? That's called making money.
Anyway, The thing that really stood out was the Sunday Night Baseball game. Jake Arrieta was throwing some nasty stuff. Jake Arrieta looked back like he was Cubs.
But
Jake Arrieta.
I don't think he picked up the win, but he did.
He did pick up the win.
He started off slow. Like he
they
walked
both
three
did.
guys. He walked 3 guys
Come
in the
on,
first
yeah.
inning.
50% of pitchers who starting off slow. Come on.
Yeah.
No, 3 walks in the first inning. You don't expect
All
that
right,
from
3
some-
walks is not.
No.
All right, yeah, 3 walks is wow. Okay, that's bad. But half these
It's-
pitchers who step on the mound for their first, I'd say 1.5 innings are slow.
Yeah,
I mean, come on,
but
you gotta give
you
him
got to
some
settle in.
breathing room.
You're right. You got to settle in. But I
It
was
was
not
also.
expecting.
It was
No,
also.
I wasn't expecting 3 walks either.
It was 37 degrees in Philly
Yeah.
that night.
That's so hot.
And
Are you kidding?
that
says the New Yorker.
says the New Yorker.
New
But
Jersey.
It's the same thing.
I went with him. Anyway, but one of another main things with me is Manny Machado is hitless in San Diego.
Not worried once again. Not worried.
I'm
He
glad
had
we got
two-
Bryce Harper.
2
Not
straight. He's got 2 games where he was 0 for 4.
I'm not worried.
Oh,
Stanton had the same fluke when he went to the Marlins with that big $300 million contract.
The Yankees.
Yet no, when he went to the Marlins
at first.
at first.
Oh, that's right.
He had a big slump too. This is the same deal. A guy who smelled the money and went, and he did his thing eventually. Not worried
Now,
about it.
who would you guys rather start a team around, Manny Machado or Bryce Harper?
Bryce Harper, I think he's got a better morale with the team. I think Machado's clear about I'm only about me. I think it's more
Yeah.
visible in Machado's attitude. Whether Bryce is all about the money or not, I think there's a little more approachable of an attitude.
And
with Bryce.
I
He's more marketable.
yeah.
That too. He's more of a political platform. This comes into politics and money.
And the Phillies, I think last year had 4 sellouts all season. They had 3 in their first 3 games. I mean, of course, you know
Clearly
why.
It's because of who.
But I'm
we
just
all-
saying they're
And he's shown out.
Right, and he backed up with the contract.
Yeah.
size, So now that's a double whammy. That's a win.
so far through 3 games, yes.
Yeah.
And you're going to jinx him. Now he's not going to have a hit for the next 100 at bats. But
Because this TV show is going to jinx. Yeah.
I'm not saying.
But yeah, so I think the Phillies really, lack of a better term, hit a home run so far.
Yeah.
And not even just with Bryce. McCutcheon's got 2-3 home runs,
That's crazy.
Gene Segura's been really good so
Franco
far.
has
He was
2
so
home runs.
Franco
washed
has
up
2
when he was
home
with the Yankees,
runs.
Too, and they had him for that short squirt of
Who?
time.
Oh,
McCutcheon.
McCutcheon. Yeah, well, he's a backup outfielder. I mean, like.
But the stats he put up with Philly is half his season stats he did with the Yankees last year. I
Yeah.
think it's hysterical.
And these
well,
are not like home
He was
runs.
on San Fran and then got traded to New
Right,
York.
but I'm saying that time he was
And
there with
like
him.
the 2 home runs that he's hit, because I don't know why, but I've just been watching Phillies games because I think they're going to be a fun team. Is these home runs that McCutcheon was hitting, no doubters. Like off the bat, no doubt. Like, oh my God, they're gone.
I'm getting a little scent of his Pittsburgh days. And
if he gets back to that
Pittsburgh
form,
days.
if he gets back to that form,
Dude.
and let's say half that form, let's say he bats 290, 20-some home runs.
I'll take 250 from him at this point.
No.
I'll take 250.
I'll take 275.
I'll take 250. I'll take 250.
Not out of
and
the
field
leadoff
ball
spot.
The way you
Not-
used to.
I'll
Not-
take
not a leadoff
275 at a
spot.
leadoff.
I'll take 250
Maybe.
and field the ball like an animal, like how you did in
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Nothing gets past you or under you. Then we got a deal. Because he's not there yet.
And one thing
He's
is,
not.
he's not even playing center. They pushed him
No.
over to left, a little bit easier play. Not as much room you got to cover.
Good, you help the old man out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put the young buck in center. Yeah.
I get that.
But I look at this Philly team, and 1, 2, 3 gets on base. And Rhys Hoskins knocks out a grand slam. Like it's nothing.
I'm not gonna say I called that, but I was just joking around. I was like, "Yo, perfect time for a grand slam right here."
And
I turned around just like off the bat going. I was like,
The thing is, though,
"I love this team."
that's not the only time this is going to happen.
No, because Harper's gonna get walked a lot.
A lot.
I'll give you one more question for both of you before we wrap it up. Go to our NBA real quick. And dark horse, the surprise team. Who do you think is going to either surprise, good or bad, make the playoffs, or totally miss the playoffs?
God.
Me, I don't think the Chicago Cubs make the playoffs.
I don't like the way that Atlanta started the season. But now,
they're missing
granted,
a lot of guys.
They were
Yeah.
missing a
Hey,
lot
who
of.
they have?
They're missing a lot of guys. They are playing a Phillies team, but I think the Mets or the Nationals are going to step up. The Mets.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
The
you have
stinking Mets.
you have to remember, all the top 4 teams in the NL East made moves to get a lot better.
Yeah, but only technically like 2 or 3.
Two of them got.
Well,
One
no.
of them.
No, but I'm saying not all 4 teams can make the playoffs.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think Atlanta is going to do the same thing they did at the end of the season and just completely miss it.
You mean Nationals?
You guys are going to be surprised with
No,
my answer.
the Braves.
Who you got?
Anaheim Angels.
Oh, God, please. I hope they do some Mike Trout. You signed for that long.
My man, Shohei Ohtani.
No, I think Ohtani and Trout, that is it.
That's all they have.
Pujols.
That's my point.
But
is
he's
ready to
39.
he's ready to
So?
get crutches and a walker.
Nelson
man.
Cruz is 39, and he's still hitting dingers.
Ready
You're
for a
talking about
walker.
you're talking about 2 different
Dude,
people.
let's bring it. We're going to talk about Edgar Renteria, too, and Edgar Encarnacion, too. Come on. Seriously, let's bring
Bartolo
Francisco-
Colon, you
let's
want to bring him back?
Francisco
Yes,
Liriano.
I actually want
No.
Bartolo Colon to come back.
Carlos Beltran? No.
She got.
Dude, that's all they have. And everybody's all go crazy. Yo, Trout and the Angels. Like, okay, relax, you baby boomer. They're not going anywhere. They're going to choke.
I wish he would have came to Philly.
He's going to choke. He's not gonna
Trout?
Trout is not going to be the leader for this Angels team that everybody thinks
They don't
he
have
is.
anyone else around
They
him.
have nobody.
They have no one else around him.
They have nobody. He can hit 3 dingers a game and they'll still lose.
Yeah.
He has no one. They're not making it to the playoffs this year.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for this MLB segment. We'll be right back for our NBA. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and subscribe on YouTube.
Open up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up. Hear a knock on the door and the night begins.
Welcome back to Pick a Bone with Bones and the Boys. We get ready for the NBA segment. The playoffs right around the corner. Jay, you're a specialist in this topic. LeBron James is not making the playoffs. That's first time in I don't know how long.
Yep.
But anyway, they're sitting him for the rest of the season. What do you think? Is that a smart move for LA? I mean,
It's
personally,
neutral. What do you want them
Yeah,
to say?
like-
Let the old man. The Los Angeles LeBrons are doing the smart thing by sitting down LeBron.
I see what you did there.
You like that?
I like
Yeah,
that.
hopefully you guys
Like
caught on to
that.
that. What do you want to say? There's about 5-6 games left in the season. The old man isn't doing what the old man used to. Let the kids rock. Let the kids
and I
play
think,
on the playground.
dude, I think next year, if he gets, this is gonna be the first time he has like a whole summer to relax and actually work on his craft. I think next year he's gonna come out and have an MVP type season.
Yeah, well, it also depends on what they plan on doing with this roster. 'Cause
Yeah.
this roster is destroyed from that free agency talk. It's destroyed. Lonzo Ball coming off an ankle injury, who's supposed to be with the Pelicans. Ingram, who's supposed to be with the Pelicans. Kuzma, who's supposed to be with the Pelicans. Mo Wagner was supposed to move up to a starter. Zubac got traded. This team is destroyed from what they had to work with to what they're left with now. Whether they're still there or not, that talk really breaks up a team chemistry on the court.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was smart to bench and let the kids play and get some chemistry, but the future's still doubtful.
Now, Ant, who's your favorite team in each conference to make a run and end up making it to the finals?
I still really am high on this Nuggets team. I think that this Nuggets team will probably get stopped by the Warriors in the West, but I really think that they're probably, in my opinion, the only bet that could do it. I don't see the Rockets being able to. I don't see anybody else being able to.
The Rockets were 1 game away last season.
They were 1 game away, but
Not even 1 game. They were a few points away.
I still just don't see it happening. And I'm about to make Jay really happy. I think the Nets could really make a push here.
No.
I think they could.
In the East?
They've done. The Nets were not even supposed to be in this position at all this year.
Nope.
D'Angelo Russell has really stepped up and really showed that it's his time to shine.
I love how he did that. That's D'Angelo's thing. That's my deloading. It's my time.
Okay, well, who's your pick, Jay? Who's making a run out of both conferences?
Not the Nets. Even though I sided with him all that way, I'm aborting ship. They're going to maybe win 2 games out of that series. They're not going to win. They're not a playoff caliber team. It's the Brooklyn D'Angelo Russells.
Yeah.
They have no one
He's going to have
else.
to go for like 60 each game.
Just about. I would say a good 40-10 to make it a good series, and he's not that kind of. It's not in his play style. Maybe in the offseason he'll work on that. But for the East, I would really love to see Toronto make a push. I would love to see Toronto do something. And in the West, I want to say the Warriors, but they're not the Warriors they were.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take the Nuggets if they stay healthy.
No, I think the Warriors are, they're a different type of team in the playoffs. That's like LeBron, during the regular season, and LeBron in the playoffs.
Yeah, but the guy who's going to hurt them, really?
His cousins?
Yeah. Boogie hurts their play style.
Why? Why is that?
That ball, when it gets swung by Draymond, if you look at that offense, everybody watches a Warriors game. When we see that offense start, it's Draymond bringing the ball up. Steph and Clay come off curls, okay? That's how your offense start. KD's in the post following ball side. Either goes to KD for a turnaround fade on the baseline, or Clay and Steph create their own space. Draymond sets a backdoor screen. It's their offense every time. It's a good old pass and cut and shoot. Boogie breaks that up, and I'll tell you why. Boogie likes to play up top and work his man. You don't really see Boogie start out in the post unless he's usually pissed off or he has an initial reason to start there. Him starting out there and not shooting efficiently like a Steph and a Clay hurts that offense. It hurts rebounding, and it hurts transition points. There's a lot of problems to that.
I think you also have to look at that from a personality standpoint. He doesn't fit a Warrior personality or mentality.
And that's exactly why Steve Kerr, when he was interviewed months ago, said after the season's over, we're going to look for a place for Boogie to get a good contract and some good money. This was a one-year mutual, let's help him get a ring, and then goodbye. He doesn't fit this team, and I'm surprised they even took him this year.
Yeah, you make a good point right there. For me, at least, I mean, out of the Western Conference, surprise team, maybe the Rockets, but I think Golden State's just too good. And come playoff time in a 7-game series, no one's going to be able to beat them. That's just my opinion.
It may be true, but I'd like to see Denver do something.
Yeah, I like to see Denver run it to 7 games. I don't think it'll happen. Maybe 5 or 6.
Hey, a 7-game series is all we can ask for,
I'll
honestly.
take Denver's facing goals in WCF before I would Houston. Because all I know, if I watch Houston, I'm going to waste my time watching James Harden.
Oh, I hate watching
and
him.
travel every damn
Especially
time.
in the playoffs. Because he just takes everything over.
He tanks in the playoffs. His stats go down.
Yeah.
His ball time goes up, but his stats go down. That's why I get sick and tired of watching Houston play in general.
Yeah.
It's a waste.
It's really the same thing with everybody on the Thunder, too.
Well, for the East, I think the Thunder have a shot with Paul George and Russell Westbrook. Not enough depth, but I think with those two players, if they both go out for 30, they can beat
Utah
anyone.
will knock them out just like how they did last year.
But I mean, out of the East,
the thing with the Thunder is Russell Westbrook is to let's pad my stats, not worry about the win.
He's a stat packer.
But let's pack my stats. And if you want a good video about that, Colin Cowherd did a really good like let me tell you why.
I love watching the Herd. He's about as real as it gets. He's hated, but he talks his stuff like how we do. And you got to admire that.
Now, for the East, you guys know who I'm going to go with. I think they have the best starting 5 in the league. I think when they're on, they can beat any team. Phillies?
Yeah.
The 76ers. But anyway.
I was saying the
anyway.
right
Anyway, the 76ers, I feel like they're too deep, and this is their time. They have Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris. Yeah. They're both on 1-year deals. So, I mean, you have these guys. You got to go at least try to make a push. I could see, Toronto or Milwaukee, beating them in a 7-game series. But I think this team's built to make it to the finals. I don't know if they win. But I think they have a shot, especially if Ben Simmons steps up and once in a while hits a jump shot.
I'll say this.
That's
time
funny.
in and time out, every time we bring up the Sixers, I always talk about one influential body on that 76ers roster.
Who's that?
And that goes by the name of T.J. McConnell. Do we also
He
forget
loves
about
T.J. McConnell.
You know why? Because how many people do you see dive on the floor for a ball anymore in the NBA?
Oh, none.
How many times do you see a guy who's
He's a
undersized,
different-
but he's willing to size up a 6'10" guy and get the job done?
He's a different breed. He's an old blue
He's a
blood
dying
type
breed.
player.
Not a dying breed. He's willing to work hard and spit blood on the floor to help his team win. Half these guys are worried about their next Instagram picture. It pisses me off to high heaven. These guys make money and act like children. That's a guy who deserves a starting spot for my franchise. Watch out for him if the 76ers win the playoffs. He will be a problem.
Yes, Jay. Yes. Jump on that 76ers bandwagon with me. Any other final thoughts before we close it?
I think that this is going to be a very interesting playoffs because finally we have 2 conferences where there's competitiveness. Like, we're not in the East, and it's like, oh my God, the 5 through 8 seeds are jokes.
Hey, man, that's in the playoffs.
That's debatable.
You're gonna catch me watching the next, man. Don't call me.
This is a different year, and it's finally for the NBA. Last year it was like, oh my God, everything's scripted. We know.
No, this was not scripted.
This is not
the Pacers
scripted.
are still in contention. They don't even have Oladipo. I thought they were going to flunk. They're still hanging around.
You want to know how I know it's not scripted?
You did call the Lakers not making the playoffs.
I said that day 1.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I'm giving you your time.
Thank you.
Don't take too much.
Now I'm taking your time away.
Jay, final thoughts.
Brooklyn's in the playoffs. I'm happy, but they won't make it far. But I like how Ant said. This East is going to be fun. This is going to be really fun. You have a Toronto team who's got a guy who doesn't want to be there, but still plays his heart out and is a great player for that team. You still got Kyle Lowry, spot-up shooter C.J. Miles, and Pascal Siakam, who stepped up incredibly, and Marc Gasol. This is going to be a really interesting Eastern Conference Finals matchup.
And we still have no idea who that's going to be.
No, that's my point.
Well, that's all the time we have today on Pick a Bone with Bones and the Boys. Jay Block, Anthony McAvoy. I'm Justin Jones. We'll see you next time.